Imagine living a life free from fear, anxiety, and inner confusion. Not because everything around you is perfect, but because within you, you've cultivated strength, discipline, and a deep understanding of your role in the world. Epictetus didn't promise wealth, success, or fame. He promised something deeper, the art of living rightly, no matter the external circumstances. And for the Stoics, this wasn't abstract philosophy. It was a way of life. If you've ever felt lost in roles you didn't choose, if you've ever wondered what your duty is when the world keeps shifting around you, then this reflection and the book by Brian E. Johnson might lead you to answers you didn't expect. Epictetus was born a slave, lived in poverty, and died far from the heart of Rome, yet he's considered one of the freest men who ever lived. Why? Because he never allowed external conditions to define his character or his actions. His philosophy rests on the fundamental Stoic principle: some things are up to us, and some things are not. Epictetus' ethical framework, as analyzed by Brian Johnson, centers around what he calls role ethics, a deep understanding of the roles we occupy in society and the moral stance required within each one. Epictetus believed we can't control our position in the world, whether we are born poor or rich, healthy or ill, but we can control how we honor the role we've been given. For example, if you are a father, you are called to act with love and responsibility. If you are a citizen, you are called to behave justly. Virtue isn't found in the role itself, but in how you choose to embody it. The Role Ethics of Epictetus isn't a list of rules. It's a map, one that helps us move with clarity, consistency, and moral purpose in a world full of change. Epictetus, like other Stoic philosophers, believed that what distinguishes human beings from all other creatures is one thing: our rational nature. According to him, our first and most fundamental duty is not to society, but to our own nature. If we are rational beings, then we must think clearly, choose consciously, and act consistently. That is what it means to be truly human. For Epictetus, reason is not just a tool for survival or making good decisions. It is the foundation of our moral identity. When we give in to anger, envy, fear, or desire, we temporarily lose connection with what makes us truly human: the ability to choose the good. Brian Johnson emphasizes in his book that Epictetus's role ethics begins exactly here, recognizing reason as the core of human responsibility. Once we realize we have the capacity to think, we no longer have the excuse of ignorance or impulse. To honor your rational nature, Epictetus says, is the first step toward virtue. It doesn't matter what role you play, parent, worker, leader, or student. If you don't respect your rational capacity, you can't be virtuous in any role. And this idea, when deeply considered, is revolutionary. Freedom does not begin outside, it begins within. Not with what we can do, but with how we choose to think before we act. Epictetus believed that every person is called to play multiple roles in life. We are children, friends, siblings, workers, citizens. And all these roles accompany us either simultaneously or at different stages. But it's not the role itself that matters, it's how we fulfill it. For Epictetus, the world is like a stage. We don't choose the script, we don't control how long the play lasts, but we do have the responsibility to perform our assigned role well. You might be rich or poor, healthy or sick, in a position of power or not. That doesn't make you good or bad. What defines you is how you carry yourself within that role, with virtue, dignity, and reason. Brian Johnson explores how this idea connects with modern life. We often confuse our roles with our self-worth. We think we are our job or our social status. But Epictetus reminds us that we are something far deeper than any external identity. Roles change, but our essence remains. We are rational beings who can choose what is right regardless of the situation. Understanding our roles isn't submission. It is freedom through conscious action. When you accept your role without fully identifying with it, you gain the space to act with wisdom, not impulse. For Epictetus, this isn't theory. It's a way of living. If there's one core idea that runs through all of Epictetus's philosophy, it's this: some things are up to us, and some things are not. The power of this distinction is immense, yet most of us forget it every day. We worry about the weather, about what others think, about politics, the economy, or people's reactions. But all of these are beyond our control. Epictetus urges us to focus our energy only on what truly depends on us. Our thoughts, our intentions, our reactions, our actions. You may not control what life throws at you, but you can choose how you respond. Brian Johnson explains that this mindset isn't about indifference. It's about wisdom. When you understand where your power ends, you gain peace. When you accept that you can't change the outer world, you begin to transform your inner world. And that's where true freedom begins. This simple distinction protects us from wasting our lives in anger, anxiety, or frustration. It helps us hold our strength where it actually matters. Once we internalize this approach, we begin to live with greater clarity, calm, and dignity, not because the world became easier, but because we learned where to place our energy and soul. For Epictetus, as well as for the Stoics in general, freedom doesn't mean controlling everything around you. It means making peace with what you cannot change through reason and dignity. The phrase that captures this mindset is Amor Fati, which means love your fate. This isn't about passive acceptance or defeat. It's about an active, rational agreement with life as it comes. Because this is the life we have, and it's up to us to give it meaning. Epictetus believed that when we constantly resist reality, all we do is suffer. Accepting fate doesn't mean giving up. It means not destroying yourself when things don't go your way. As Brian Johnson explains, a truly virtuous person doesn't wait for the perfect life. They live wisely within the life they have, honoring their roles, their rational nature, and the choices that are genuinely within their power. When you love your fate, not just tolerate it, you stop living like a victim. You become a creator, even within the limits of your existence. This is the deepest message of Epictetus. Life may not be fair or easy, but if you learn to live in accordance with your nature and embrace your fate, it can become truly yours. If you made it this far, thank you, truly. This channel exists to share ideas, philosophy, and perspectives that might offer a fresh way to look at life. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. It's a small click for you, but it makes a big difference for the algorithm and helps us keep growing. And if you'd like to see more content like this, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Thank you for being here. It means a lot.